Yo, my brothers and sisters, what's good? Today we got a special one. Sneeko has basically taken a strong stand with the Red Bull community. He's like, in there with them. And he's basically calling out the playback fellas, basically calling them misingenuous for dabbling on both sides instead of taking a stance. This is interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just here for the future drama. Like, I have a feeling this could turn out to be insanely interesting in the future. So I'm just here for the drama, not gonna lie.
Yo, welcome back, Playback. Over the weekend, a couple of things that occurred. So the last video we uploaded on this channel was talking about Sneeko. We kind of get a rebuttal to him calling us out. He said that we're not being genuine or being, disingenuous about our takes. He says that we're censoring ourselves. So we took time out to actually rebuttal to that. Because of that, he then invited us on his stream. We had a back and forth conversation about it.
Look, that's not a crime to censor yourself. If you want to censor yourself because you want to, like Adrian is saying, fall within a certain realm.
Not
I
censorship,
think
though.
If I ask you your honest opinion on something and then you voluntarily don't say it because you are you're worried about the repercussions, that is a form of censorship.
A lot of things I learned, man, I didn't feel comfortable with a couple of things. Me personally, I don't want to speak for me. I don't I don't want our opinions to get mixed up now. Okay. Me personally, I felt a little uncomfortable. But first, I do want to say this. Look, the ongoing conversation of, YouTubers censoring each other, we got to censor ourselves. I find it personally understanding if people need to censor themselves, especially if there's a benefit, and also if they're still being genuine to who they are. Sneeko called us out because he said that we censor ourselves on podcasts, which I thought was interesting, because if y'all want to hear the things we got to say that we censor out, we upload it on Patreon, man. Link in the description. You can go watch it anytime you want to. If you really think that we're really censoring ourselves that much, I think that's a bit outrageous. But I also felt it very disingenuous because Sneeko, you censored yourself on a podcast. You openly admitted that. So I don't understand where that came from. And furthermore, a lot of people, we just hold in other people's anonymity. We ask the guests if they want to censor themselves. So I don't know why that was a big deal for Sneeko. I didn't get that point. I completely went over my head. Then he went on to claim that, we censor ourselves because we didn't talk about certain things, passing things such as the trans situation. And the viewers basically saying, you don't care about it. You don't have an opinion on it. You're not properly informed, at least you feel like. Things about me and my life. I've said everything.
I'm just talking in general.
Like, well, no, majority of...
Okay, all right, let me ask you guys both a question. Here's just a random... Do you think a man can be a woman? Do you think a man can be like do you believe that what do they call it? Do you believe that transsexuals, like, do you think there's ever a legitimate situation where a man is in the wrong body or a woman's in the wrong body or are
I say this, Chris. I think that sometimes people feel like just because I'm not informed and I don't want to. So the reason we don't talk about trans topics on Playback is because even though Lo has an opinion on them, I don't. I haven't looked at the research. I don't have one trans friend. I'd be talking out of my ass and just having a take for the sake of having a take. If you want to call that censorship, it is what it is.
I could vouch for him on that because certain things
I'm on the camp that I just don't care. And it's not at a place.
I agree with him, but I also see the other side though. So for example, if he says that he does not want to comment on it because he feels like he doesn't have the information enough to comment on it, the opposition have the same problem. They don't have enough information. They don't even look at the data. They just comment on it. So I understand both sides, but for him to not comment on it because he lacks the information, I understand and I respect him to not just throw things out there. But everybody on the opposite side is doing the same thing. They're all just saying whatever comes to mind. They have no research, they have no understanding, they don't take the time to actually go back and understand what the hell is going on. They're just saying it off emotion. So from Sneeko and the fella side, I understand because technically they're right. Like people are all just talking shit, but some people can't say what's on their mind because then they'll get censored. And on the other side, makes sense. You don't want to comment on stuff because you lack information. So far, both the fellas are right so far.
Of like, there's a lot of things in the world I don't care about.
You don't have to care to have an opinion, though.
Yeah. No, that's the thing.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has
No, you don't. No, that's not the case at all.
I have an opinion on trans people.
So if I ask you, can a man be a woman? You literally don't. You're like, there's no yes, there's no no, there's no.
So if you ask me about the genocide going on in China, I know such surface level knowledge.
Agent, you're a man, bro. Like, you think you can be a woman, bro?
If look, you asked me a question like that, and if I thought it was important for the success of the channel,
this is what we're
it's
talking
not
about.
dodging. It's almost as if you're forcing me to have an opinion Otherwise, it's censorship. I'm telling you that topic is not important to me, so I've not put in thought and effort to develop my own opinion.
Stuff like this should be important to you. These are like the
Why?
biggest issues.
Why does it have to be the type of content we make?
Which I agree. I think that if you're not informed enough on it, you probably shouldn't speak on something, especially something that can impact people's lives. Like we can have a debate back and forth on what exactly is informed. So then he tried to just put Asia in the box. I didn't feel too good about that myself. I was like, not my playback.
I don't like the idea that if you don't have an extreme opinion, it's less genuine.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something genuine about coming to your own conclusions.
For sure.
That'd be like, yeah, it's like Democrat, Republican, bro. Like, you gotta believe everything one group says, or can you pick and choose which policies you feel like fit based on your decision-making ability? I just feel like most regular adult human beings are capable of coming to their own conclusions outside of just agreeing with anything one whole group or philosophy says. In my personal opinion.
But that's not that they call it the Matrix. Call it the Matrix.
I also say you're in the Matrix.
They get programmed. But Sneeko basically said that, which I think, yeah, I agree. I think that you shouldn't formulate an opinion unless you are, especially something to that magnitude. I just formulate an opinion about pink sauce that went viral on TikTok. That doesn't, that's surface level stuff. But we're talking about something that impacts, millions of people's lives. We should probably be more impactful, more informed on it. We did the same thing with the Amber Heard situation. We weren't informed. Ended up taking down the video because people were calling us out on it. We were wrong, and we had to address it. Yeah, I agree. You should be more informed on certain things. Us just jumping out the window on something just for the sake of doing so does not make any sense at all.
And having a provocative opinion doesn't make you honest or genuine. There's no evidence to prove that. In fact, there might be some evidence to prove the opposite.
Yeah.
That you're incentivized to continue to have provocative opinions because you know people are going to want to share provocative opinions. A regular take I make is not going to be shared by people as like, whoa, did you see this very common sense take? Or did you see this but like a ridiculous take like Andrew Tate saying that women should wear their fucking body count on their foreheads, that was shared everywhere. Everybody saw that. Yeah. So I think there's something to be said about like, you can't pitch it as though I'm fence riding and that's the easier route. If we're looking at examples of people talking in extremes and going viral and being celebrated for it.
If you're going to be extreme, just be informed. When you jump out the window, you say things that are not informed. You say things that are just falsely incorrect. Like you insinuated that we get way more sponsorships on this channel, and we've only had one sponsorship on this channel this entire time. But you jump out the window and say that because you're not informed, so you're just saying things. We agreed to disagree for the most part. So then Sneeko brought on a good friend of his, Luke. He's a swell guy.
Oh, good fucking guy, man.
He was a good guy, man. He was a good guy. Swell guy. So Luke, he's a truth teller. At least that's what they was told to us. And then while speaking truth, they asked him about, the pox is going on right now. Luke, instead of answering it straight up, you got to tap man's shoes. And he got to tapping. You got to tapping immediately.
There's no point in saying that gay people are evil.
And not even that it's a distraction. Like, I don't have an opinion about it. I don't have to have an opinion about everything that I come across. Right. Like, maybe I just look and I'm like, okay, well, it is what it. Like, I'm not paying attention. I don't have the facts.
I just had that same thought, and I was just ostracized on stream for not giving a fuck about everything that crossed my path. You ever ask yourself, how the fuck do you decide what you care about? Is it proximity? It got to be someone close to you? Does it have to affect you? But it's some things you're just not gonna care about. It doesn't mean it's not important. It just means it's not for you to handle. I can't believe Sneeko, you criticize me for the same thing that Luke is doing, but you're not saying nothing to Luke right now.
No, you don't even have any opinion at all. You don't have any opinion at all.
But that Luke doesn't have an opinion.
Sneeko's got very good intention. That's what I respect most about him. A lot of his videos, the way he goes about it is really funny, but his intentions is always, for the most part, it's always in the good place. Like right now, he's trying to basically fight for basically not men's rights, but how men are treated and how men are seen. That's one thing that he's taking a really strong stance for against, like right now. I understand what he's doing, but you can't go about forcing people to you can't force people to express their opinion. I don't believe that, for example, like playback. I don't believe that they genuinely don't have an opinion. They have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. But sometimes it's better not to state your opinion because it's not worth stating. If you're misinformed, your opinion has no weight. It carries no weight. Unless you're someone that knows something and you studying it, then obviously your opinion carries a lot of weight. So I understand both sides yet again. But I think Sneeko, he's trying to do good, but he's going about it the wrong way. He's trying to force the idea upon everybody else to also stand up and stand for men, which is it's a noble thing, but it's the way he's going about it. He's coming across, not in this video, like other videos I noticed, he's coming across incredibly strong and incredibly harsh and incredibly like like in your face. Whereas that's not a way of it's not a way of changing. It's not a good way of changing someone's opinion, if you know what I mean.
Monkeypox. It's the same thing happening.
His opinion is that it's distraction.
Nigga, of course it's a distraction. Everything you do is a distraction from something else you could be doing. Everything could qualify as a distraction.
No, it's
got you, bro.
No, it's meant to. Say it again.
We're just choosing. Let's direct the conversation back at the Matrix itself. Let's go back to that.
Which I found very interesting and odd to me when Agent did the same thing about the trans situation. Immediately, they were on your ass. They were, oh, no.
I know such surface level knowledge.
Agent, you're a man, bro. Like, you think you can be a woman, bro?
Look, you asked me a question like that, and if I thought it was important for the success of the chat,
this is what we.
It's not dodging. It's almost as if you're forcing me to have an opinion. Otherwise, it's censorship. I'm telling you, that topic is not important to me.
Distraction, like, I don't have an opinion about it. I don't have to have an opinion about everything that I come across. Right. Like, maybe I just look and I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is. Like, I'm not paying attention. I don't have the facts.
I just had that same thought, and I was just ostracized on stream for not giving a fuck about everything that crossed my path. I can't believe, Sneeko, you just criticized me for the same thing that Luke is doing, but you're not saying nothing to Luke right now. I find it interesting when people don't hold others to the same standard they hold others. You feel me? Like, how do you decide who's held to what standard? I felt like I was being held to a standard that Luke wasn't being held to just because Sneeko agreed with what Luke was saying. And I don't try and be aggressive in conversations because I feel like I will never be able to successfully get my point across if I'm just screaming at somebody. So I just kept my cool and tried arguing my point, but it just felt hypocritical. I feel like the responsible thing to do is just admit that, damn, I did hold you to a different standard. If I'm going to criticize Agent for quote unquote not believing all in one thing and quote unquote fence riding, coming to my own conclusions, then you should do the same for Luke, who was ducking and dodging a question when Don asked it.
I asked him a very honest and simple question about like the monkeypox thing, and I felt like he bobbed and weaved that, and then.
No, you wanted to say that gay people are sinful because of the monkeypox.
No, that's not.
I didn't bob and weave it. I just don't have an opinion about it. Maybe I just don't care enough about it. So can I truly not have an opinion about it? I mean, I don't have an opinion about everything, so that's why I told you.
I gave you very plain and simple information. You see, this is the same thing you were just criticizing. Hold on.
I don't have an opinion about it, brother.
I feel like they're not understanding each other. They're both saying something without actually fully listening to more on one side than the other, but they're not actually fully listening to one another. The one end is basically saying you have an opinion, but you don't want to state your opinion, and your opinion matters because the other side is just bashing us. That's basically what the one side is saying. While the other side is saying, well, okay, they're saying one thing, I'm envisioning it completely different, but I understand what it is that they're saying. They're saying is, I don't have an opinion on this thing, so therefore, I'm not going to say anything. Or we're not informed, so therefore, we're not going to say anything. What I interpret that as is, I have very little knowledge on this thing, but I obviously have an opinion because I have knowledge on it. But my knowledge carries no credit. So therefore, I can't just be saying it because it doesn't matter. I don't know enough to actually be commenting, so therefore I don't want to just say anything. They're going about this wrong. They're attacking each other's character instead of actually, because they haven't spoken once about the actual problem. You know what I mean? They're speaking more on the idea of whether or not you should or you shouldn't say, which I guess is what their problem is. I guess that's what their little beef is about, just the base question on whether whether you should say something or not, or whether it's disingenuous if you just keep quiet, or it's a dumbass topic to be arguing about, I personally think, but it could get really entertaining if you know what I mean.
Agent and Low, and now but taking up for him because it's Luke. But when it's Agent and Low,
the opinion is that
it all just kind of felt odd to me,
especially when he basically said the exact same thing you said. Like, I don't care. I don't really care. I don't really have an opinion on it. It's all nothing but a distraction. Which again, I don't have a problem with it. If you truly believe that to be the case, it's fine. Yeah, it probably is a distraction.
Distraction is one of the key words Matrix people use.
Yeah, distraction and programming. Those are the two words.
Distraction and programming. And it's like me talking to Low is distracting me from acknowledging that this nigga is asleep behind us. But me talking to y'all is distracting me from looking at this view. Everything you do is a distraction from something else you could be doing. So you arguing, a distraction is not that doesn't have no merit to it.
But it's just convenient though. It's just convenient for him to just. But the thing was really odd to me because I missed this part. Sneeko, once people were trying to say, hey, Sneeko, he's doing the same thing that Agent is doing. You're not holding to it. Instead of, like you said, Sneeko acknowledging it, Sneeko is basically trying to walk this nigga through saying something that he's like, no, say that thing you said.
But look, that's not true. You have an opinion about epochs.
But like, there's nothing I'm carried. It's like, that's dumb shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, your opinion is that it's dumb. It's not that you have no opinion. You're saying that it's dumb and it's brainwashing. What? The difference between
Sneeko, he's saying that his opinion isn't worth stating. That's what the guys are not understanding each other. They're like clashing because they're not actually trying to absorb the information that's coming across. They're just trying to get their information out. But let's go on.
He's not even choosing a side about trans
people.
Bro,
you are making a huge leap here, Sneeko. Me and him are in the exact same position, but you're finding a way to argue on his behalf. I'm on the camp that I just don't care.
I don't care. Like,
I just don't care.
I don't care. Like,
I'm like, nigga, stop trying to walk him through it, bro. He just said he doesn't have an opinion on. He doesn't care. It's the same thing that he said, but you're not holding to that same standard. That's a bit off to me. So then the second thing was the Balenciaga thing that we trolled about earlier. This man has a Balenciaga shirt. Luke does, which is fine. I don't really care about it. If by that same logic, you would have to perceive it to have value, and which then means that you are willing to play within the matrix or within the programming to best benefit you, or however else you want to uphold the lifestyle that you want to have. Which is the same thing he did later on when he told Sneeko to dress a certain type of way to play the role that best benefits you. What is the point of the Balenciaga shirt? Because that also doesn't make any sense.
Well, it does make sense. When I was poor, I promised myself two things: that I would buy nice t-shirts and eat at any restaurant that I wanted. So those are my two promises to myself, that when I got rich, I would just splurge on those two things. And those are the two things I splurged on.
So wouldn't that logic mean that you were participating in the Matrix then?
100%. Sometimes I indulge, brother. What does that have to do with anything? Sometimes I just want to buy a nice t-shirt.
First of all, you can't criticize other people for playing within the rules of what...
So this whole idea of the Matrix, what they're referring to when they say the Matrix, they're talking about the actual system itself. Everybody participates in the system. It's everything you see outside. When you go into a bank, every single thing that you're doing is part of the system. So the idea that, oh, you're not participating in the system is fucking idiotic, okay? Everybody's participating in it. The whole idea is to try, well, the whole Red Pill idea is to basically try and make yourself so successful that the system can't control you. It's not that so you don't participate in the system. You obviously need to participate in the system. Your children need to go to school. You need to pay for the house. Everything that you do is part of the system. The system is a connection of everybody. It's like all of us together and how it's been built for all of us to survive. Everything's a system. So you can't, this whole idea that you're not participating in the system, guys, come on. Everybody's participating in it.
Works, right? Because if you have a very extreme opinion, you're like, well, I don't want to follow any rules, then that's completely up to you. Yes. But then you can't turn around and follow all the rules of like, well, you got to dress right to get into these parties and to talk to these people to have this access.
When he told you need to put on better pants, you say something then.
Why would I? I need to get respect from people. Like, I'm around millionaires and I have that's a true point. I need to get respect from the room I at. That's not sucking dick. He's
no,
right.
you're absolutely right.
I can't be in Dorado with a bunch of millionaires with holes in my shorts. You got a point. That's understanding the Matrix and operating around it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is what I'm saying is that if we did the same thing by your logic through YouTube, we're doing the same thing on YouTube, and yet it came with criticism.
How is it the same thing? You just sat there and
said because you just sat there and said that we're playing within the confines of YouTube and we edit certain aspects of the podcast and upload it on Patreon. Is that not the same thing of working within the confines?
That's not being truthful. Wearing clothes that look better is not censoring truth. That's just looking better. That's where
I think that the playback guys aren't fully understanding Sneeko's perspective, but what he's saying is that certain people can't say certain things, and when they say those things, the system basically finds a way to shut them down.
Proving. You just say like you have celebrity drama, that's not truth.
Wait, looking better for what though? Because if those people cannot decipher, or they don't want to give you the opportunity to tell your truth, or they're willing to judge you based off of what you look and not based off of your actual character, then they're not also living in truth either.
You're playing the same game. You're playing the exact same game. You're just drawing your line differently, but with like this like moral, you feel like you have this moral high ground, like you've done it better than than other people. You're doing the same thing.
Which is so odd because even if you believe that we're censoring ourselves, the concept still is the same. Like you said, we are playing within the confines.
It is different. It is very different. That was a horrible example though. The sneaker goes into a place full of millionaires and he's got 200 bands. The people are going to judge him and he's going to feel embarrassed about it. Whereas the whole red pill versus blue pill community, if they don't speak on the topic of men, like, you know, being treated like shit, basically, the repercussion is on all men. You know, so Sneeko is just saying, he's just feeling, you know what, I don't want to explain this anymore. You already know how I feel about this. Let's just go on.
To the YouTube rules or the rules that are set in place to best benefit us. And I believe, at least my end goal is some form of financial liberation so I don't have to continue to play the game. Luke then said the exact same thing. And again, Sneeko is just like, the level of criticism and vitriol you have behind it is not the same. So that was also very odd to me, especially this nigga sitting here telling me that a Balenciaga shirt has no worth to it. I was like, nigga, come on, it has worth to you. Come on, let's stop the cap.
He's like, that shirt doesn't have that much value.
It has no value.
Exactly, but because it has a
money
name on it.
Yeah, but what do we agree that it has no value?
To you it does though. Correct?
Yes. No, I just bought a shirt that I like. That's all I did.
No,
you just what's the difference?
You promised the actual shirt itself has no value, but to you it has value because you've always wanted to wear expensive clothes when you're younger. So the value is within you on the shirt. I don't know if that makes sense, but perspective. It might not have value to someone else, but it could have value to you. Perspective.
No, I said that I promised myself when I was poor.
There's meaning in that promise.
There's meaning.
Yeah,
right.
But no, I just buy it because I like it.
Right.
But I buy it because I like it.
And I'm not saying someone is intrinsically because they buy
we're saying it has value
treat
to you.
themselves.
So it has value to you then.
No, because I could do without it. I could do without it.
Meaning it's not value.
But the bigger picture I want to paint here is that, look, Sneeko, I know.
Okay, I gotta say this. They're using very, very bad examples. So Sneeko can't get his main point across. Does it feel like I'm defending Sneeko? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have an inherent problem with you. I don't know why they kept pushing like, oh, you got a problem with that nigga, don't you? Come on, dog.
Who said that?
He said that Don and Todd were like, you got a problem with him, don't you?
I forgot.
Don't you got a problem with them? Don't you, right?
You do?
No, I don't. I have no problem with him. I guess the other problem that I have is the same thing we said in the Andrew Tate video about how he's wrong, which is the concept of if you are going to be a part of Red Pill, it's a bit hypocritical that you don't continue to seek the truth, even if it's people within the community. People can be false prophets. People can be sitting there spewing rhetoric just to be a part of the community that they actually don't believe in. And you should constantly challenge people, regardless if they're a part of your community or not. Because when you don't do it, or you just spew bullshit, it just becomes convenient for you. And it's just, what's so crazy to me, because Sneeko, I know you believe that because you say the same thing about politicians, you say the same thing about women, you'll say the same thing even about me. So it's all, if it's just convenient for you, you just get away with it. And you don't really understand that you just did the exact same thing, which was our original criticism on Red Pill, the community that's being breeded within that Red Pill ideology. That people are not actually doing the hard work and challenging people around them. I don't know why you did.
I fully and 110% agree with him.
What you did in this stream, it made no sense to me, but you were being mad inconsistent with the level of criticism that you were levying towards us, even though the nigga was doing the exact same thing. And it was inconsistent. And also the criticism you gave to us that you also do as well. That did not make any sense. It just didn't, dog.
Yeah, you don't need to be red pill to seek the truth. You don't need to this fake matrix spirituality stuff, bro. You're gonna have to convince me there's some merit to it. Cause if if the purpose of the matrix is just to, what is that? Like I've been watching so many Illuminati spiritual soul videos. I still I sat in a convo with a guy who really believes this stuff. And he did a horrible job of explaining to me what the fuck his ideology was.
Luke did a horrible, because we kept asking like, what is an end goal? This nigga gave us like 3 or 4 different answers. I'm like, bro. Hey, man, those are just our thoughts, yo. Sneeko, again, no hard feelings. But the other video that we were roasting that nigga, you know, chilling. Hey, yo, no hard feelings, Sneeko, but those are just our thoughts. If you missed the other video we're talking about, we'll put it on the screen right here. Also, if you think we're not being genuine, you can definitely click that link in the description to see all of our uncut stuff.
Bro, the fully uncensored stuff exists on the internet. It's just not on YouTube.
Please click it. But let them see it though. Let them give them a chance. Let's click it. Click it and watch it. And until next time, we'll see y'all later, man. Peace.
I gotta take this hoodie off. I hate it.